Technology has revolutionized medicine
Have you had an MRI scan before?
and become more accessible than ever.
You're going to take this whole thing right now and we're going to see what your DNA tells you about your health.
But is it possible to know too much about our bodies?
Once you have information, you can't unknow it.
On today's episode, prevention is the cure. You know what they say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Study after study has consistently shown that spending more on our healthcare when we're younger and healthier will not only prolong our lives, but enrich them. But what kinds of preventative tests are available to us, and who pays for them? To help me navigate the landscape of what's available and what's really worth it, I'm going to speak with Dr. Nisha Dama, co-founder of the West Coast Women's Clinic in Vancouver. Let's go explore what's available to us. Dr. Dawan is an expert in women's health, including the menopausal transition. So how does that relate to preventative medicine?
We know that menopausal transition is huge for a time of change in the woman's body, for prevention of osteoporosis and cardiovascular disease and breast cancer.
So menopause is linked to all these other diseases.
And when we drop in our hormones, the body changes, the physiology of the body changes. So we lose some of that protection. After menopause, after these hormonal changes, we become at a higher risk for osteoporosis, for cardiovascular disease. And cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer for women after menopause. So not a lot of women know that.
No, I did not know that.
In Canada, we have a excellent healthcare system that works on an illness model. It's not necessarily a preventative or wellness model.
In some cases, the private medical industry has stepped in to provide preventative screening services that aren't covered by public health insurance. One service that has received a lot of press recently is a full-body MRI screening company called Prenuvo. Featuring celebrity clients like Paris Hilton and Cindy Crawford, the company made headlines when TV host Maria Menounos said that it had helped her detect early-stage pancreatic cancer. Curious to see the process myself, I decided to reach out to Prenuvo's Vancouver clinic. Hi, Wayne.
Hi.
Carmen,
Lovely
nice to see you.
How are
Nice
you?
to see you.
Come on in.
You're recommended by doctors, physicians.
Yeah, so every patient is going to have a requisition for the scan, and that's just to make sure that we're doing the right thing for everybody. We want to make sure that their family physician is part of that decision-making process.
And so then the results go to my physician.
Right, and this is just another tool for them to be able to use in conjunction with you to make lifestyle choices for the future or interventions sooner if there is something that needs to be looked at. Yeah, so come on through. These are the change rooms just down this way. So you can come on in here. This is going to be your change room.
I'm very proactive with my health. I try to be as healthy as I can. And I was very interested about this because the promise of the results is really about catching it early.
Yeah, our entire motivation is to empower the patient, that we want you to take control of your own health, of course working with your family physician, that you're able to organize tests like these, that you can make sure that everything looks good underneath the skin surface.
So Danielle tells me this is my dressing room. So you want to see my outfit? I have an appointment for a comprehensive whole body scan. So tell me, what is my experience going to be like?
So you're going to go into, I guess, the change rooms first. You're going to change into some comfortable scrubs.
Ta-da! Even the scrubs are fashionable. Look at this.
The staff are going to call you through. They're going to ask you some safety questions to make sure that you are safe to go into the machine. They're going to take you in the machine. You're going to lay down. You're going to have some equipment put over you. They're going to help take the pictures. You're going to lay back for about 45 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so we're just going to go through a few quick safety questions before we take you into the room today, okay? If you can confirm your date of birth for me.
August 5th.
Have you had an MRI scan before?
I mean, I'm excited about it because I always want to know. But at the same time, I heard there's a terminology called scanxiety.
That's actually very common. Generally, when there's any healthcare test, that people can be very comfortable, very calm about it, and as you're leading up to the actual appointment, that anxiety increases. And it's one of the things that we look at changing here, which is you walk in here and it doesn't feel like a stale healthcare setting. It's more of a spa-like setting. It's a lot more comfortable.
Would you like to watch a show on Netflix?
Yes, I would.
Yes. Do you know what you would like, or do you want to have a look?
Let's have a look.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Let's see.
Perfect.
So tell me a little bit about what images we're looking at.
Yeah, so we're using an advanced MRI machine. We're scanning from head to toe, looking for over 500 different conditions. As I said, the scan takes under an hour to complete all of the imaging. And we're literally looking organ by organ from the head all the way down through the chest, abdomen, pelvis, scanning right down to the bottom of the legs.
Carmen, are you still doing okay in there?
Very well, thank you. I'm grateful for the minute that you've spent with me here, because I think understanding helps put it in perspective. It's not scary, it's a spa treatment, right?
But yeah, well, one way to find out. I hope that at the end of this scan you feel the same way. That was very pleasant. It is a very comfortable experience in there.
Oh my God.
You did fall asleep.
No, I totally did.
Oh yeah, I fall asleep there.
I did. It was the wildest thing. I couldn't even stay on for this, and I love blue zones. Oh my God, that's the inside of my body. And so here's the thing. So I do my test, I do my scan, and then what happens after that scan?
Yeah, so after your scan, you'll come back and you'll have a consultation, and essentially it's a dialogue with you and our radiologist to look at those next steps, again, to empower you and to give you more tools to take back to your family physician.
Okay, well, I guess I have to come back, and until then I'm going to be like this. I'm very curious about Dr. Kirkpatrick's conversation, so you'll have to come back with me for that one.
The main finding that we've discovered is we found a small lesion.
I'm on a journey to learn about new advances in preventative medicine. My first stop was Prenuvo for a full-body MRI. While I waited for the results of that test, I wanted to speak with Dr. Dawan about another burgeoning field, genetics. Most of us are aware of the DNA test for fun and family history and who was your great-grandfather. But can you tell me a little bit more on a DNA test for medical reasons?
We actually now have the ability to test our genetics. So if you have a family history of breast cancer or colon cancer, we know that the way genetics works, that not all genes are directly inherited by everybody. So what the genetic testing does is tells an individual what genes are present in their body and whether they've inherited that gene or not. And it's important, Carmen, to remember that just because you have the gene doesn't mean you have the disease. And how is that gene being exposed to what environment? Is it going to upregulate, or is it going to be expressed?
With genetic testing becoming more accessible, there are many providers to choose from, including Vancouver-based DNA Power. They believe that their test can help clients optimize their health journey. My colleague and videographer Dean Atwell went to find out more.
Okay, doctor, I am ready for my test.
Absolutely. Okay, you're going to take this whole thing right now and rub the inside of both cheeks 10 times each side. Screwing off the blue top, popping it in. We give it just a little bit, that stabilizes it, and you're done. We're only identified by barcode. The information only comes together with your name once you get your reports.
Nutrition and fitness. We all want to be healthier, stronger, fitter. But achieving those results has been mostly trial and error for most of us. Now, I'm your average gym goer. But it is said that the body is built in the kitchen, and this is an area for me that requires constant improvement. What if we could take a DNA test and optimize those results for our progress?
What is it you're hoping to get out of this?
I'm trying to optimize my nutrition so I get better results in the gym. I'm getting older and I'm finding out that the same workouts that I'm doing before are not as effective, perhaps, because my body's reacting differently now to food. So what could I do better so I don't have to work out twice as hard in the gym?
Okay, but I'm going to tell you something. You actually fall into the category of people in our results that I think this is life-changing.
I can still drink beer though, right?
You can drink beer. Now, and see what we've got. So the results are in green and red. And where it's green is normal genetics, and where it's red is where you have genetic variations.
Okay, so green is good, red is flagged.
Exactly.
Okay.
So here we go. Here's your first red and green. This is on diet. What you want is complex carbohydrates, low sugar.
Okay.
And we are going to see that you need to really avoid saturated fats.
So my daily meal consumption is about 30% carbohydrates, 30% fats, and 40% protein. So protein with every single meal. And I try to get my body weight, which is about 175 right now, pounds, in protein.
You are one of the people that I would ban from fried foods.
Get out.
I would, yes, because
Pakoras, samosas.
God, I am so sorry, but the fried food, you're going to have to really think carefully about that.
No more jalebis, which are like the sweet Indian dessert.
I just received that as a gift. We're heading to an Indian wedding in a few weeks, and it was so lovely. They're delicious.
Jalebis are out.
Okay, we're going to look at the next part. Food tolerances: green on alcohol, green on caffeine, green on gluten, and green on lactose. Okay, very few people get that.
Look at the smile.
We're moving now into the vitamins. This is one of your key takeaways. You have genetic variations heavily in vitamin Bs. Vitamin Bs are the biggest issue and importance for you, and magnesium and a little bit of zinc. This takes us to the last report, and this is one of the most important genes you can look at. So it's called an APOE gene. You have half of that variation, which puts you at a higher risk for cardiovascular and Alzheimer's as you age.
Okay.
So staples of my diet. Every day I'm consuming a portion of Greek yogurt, 1 or 2, maybe some cottage cheese, egg whites, whole eggs if I need the fats in, healthy fruits, banana for sure, sweet potatoes, avocados are good healthy fats. I eat a small portion of fish, maybe once or twice a month. It's an area that needs improvement. I should be eating way more fish.
So the good news is this is the gene that if somebody finds this out is the most life-changing in my view you can get, that combined with your Bs, because really Bs will help solve part of this as well.
This is my future. So if I make these changes now,
yes,
I'm going to live longer, I'm going to live healthier, I'll be smarter, wiser, and stronger.
You nailed it.
Upon receiving the genome results, DNA Power advises you not to overly worry or stress, as this can have a negative impact. My key takeaway, though, however, is that I now can take positive action to lead a healthier lifestyle.
With Dean's results in mind, I was curious about what my DNA would reveal. I ordered an Invitae DNA kit through Dr. Dawan at the West Coast Women's Clinic. There you go. So let's see what it looks like. So a saliva collection kit, okay. I'm gonna take this home and spit into the gadget. And then I ship it, and I think about 6 weeks later, I go see Dr. Balpawa at West Coast Women's Clinic for my results. Doing these tests is a bit of a gamble, but I want to know. Up next, our regular segment with Chef Julian Bond. In every episode, Chef Bond takes us into the kitchen and shows us healthy, affordable, and Zoomer-friendly recipes. This week, he's put together a special menu tailored specifically to Dean's DNA results.
Hi everybody, welcome to Granville Island, here in the heart of Vancouver. It's one of the busiest food markets in North America, but it's also one of the best. I need to buy some eggs. I can buy eggs anywhere. Everybody sells eggs. But do me a favor, shop local, buy local. We're here on Granville Island, a lovely store that sells chicken. Naturally, it sells eggs. And by coming down and supporting them, you can buy beautiful 12 free-range eggs. Look at the color of them. And it's brain food. And that's what we're gonna talk about when we cook these eggs. So hi Dean, it's nice to see you nice and healthy. You can eat wonderful foods. So we're gonna do an egg dish. You're good with lactose. We're gonna put lots of camembert in there, some goat cheese, Spinach, full of iron, brilliant brain food. So, olive oil. And all I'm doing is just heating through my potatoes, because this dish technically will cook very fast. So here's a little tip for you. Never season salt inside while you're frying something. What happens if I put salt on these potatoes, it'll actually break down the oil, and these potatoes will boil instead of get that nice browning effect. This is where you can put iron into your food. Now, is my spinach gonna fit? Yes. I'm keeping the stems on, but we're gonna let our spinach cook down. If you can't find fresh spinach, you can also use frozen spinach. And when I'm about this stage, I'm gonna add some more. So, now my spinach is almost wilted. Not a lot of salt, Dean, just a little bit. I'm gonna add tomatoes. I like the freshness, and more importantly, I like the acidity of them. I'm gonna take some goat cheese. And then my eggs, I cracked ahead of time into a glass so I can inspect my eggs. One more time with the seasoning. One more time with the cracked pepper. And I'm gonna bake these eggs. And they're gonna go hot oven, 375 degrees, 15 minutes. Added crunch of the pine nuts. Enjoy.
It's been 2 weeks since my full body MRI at Prenuvo. Now I'm back at the clinic to go over the results. Did you see anything that's very alarming to you?
Overall, no major concerns here. There's some information we can give you.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's bad information, but
Okay.
it's definitely information you'd be interested in as far as your
Okay.
health status. Probably the main finding that we've discovered from scanning you head to toe is we found a small lesion near your jaw. The bottom right corner of the four squares there is called the diffusion sequence.
This one here, yeah.
And this is what picks up little lesions with a lot of sensitivity. And so we've picked up this little lesion here, which shows up dark on the white background, and it's about 9 to 10 millimeters in that range there. And it is on the inside of your jaw or mandible on the right. And
So it would be around here?
it'd be about that level, but it's on the inside of the jaw, so you couldn't feel your cheek and expect to feel this. And when we correlate with this other scan, it looks like it's restricting, so it's not just a simple cyst. It's likely a small solid lesion.
That's not good.
And it doesn't necessarily mean it's good or bad, it just means we've discovered something and we need to characterize it a bit more to figure out what it is.
Of course, the questions that I have now is, how did it get there? And what do I do about it?
We may end up doing something just called watchful waiting, which means we don't forget about it, we don't ignore it, we're just going to follow it and see if it does anything. Well, this MRI whole body scan is very great for picking things up. It's not a dedicated MRI for single body parts.
Right.
So the first step would be to completely characterize it with just an MRI neck.
Yeah.
And after that's done, you probably want to see an ENT surgeon. They're the surgeons who address the ears, nose, and throat. And they would assess you to see if you're having any symptoms related to this.
Oh my God, it's the first time I've ever even thought about having surgery. I'm a pretty healthy specimen, but you never know. Now, I was invited to take these tests, and I gladly ran to their doors. But they are pricey.
Yes.
They're expensive. How do you feel personally about these extra tests that we might put ourselves through, like the MRIs and the genetic tests?
Well, that's a very interesting question, Carmen. And I think what I usually first start with is I want to understand, what does a patient want to know? What are they going to do with that information? And how is it going to change how they live their life? Because once you have information, you can't unknow it.
So what's the advice that you would give to anybody that comes in your door and wants to do something basic for prevention?
Nothing trumps basic lifestyle. Exercise, clean nutrition and stress management. And, you know, exercise affects disease prevention in so many different levels, in all our whole body. And then the food that we eat, nutrition, healthy nutrition, and avoiding a lot of the junk that we eat has profound effects on how our genetics are activated, how our liver detoxifies garbage, how our whole physiology works, right? And we talked about the stress management. That has huge effects on the whole body, the physiology of the stress response. So I always tell my patients to start with the foundation, start with the lifestyle stuff.
Well, that's just about it for the show, and we'll be back soon to wrap things up. But first, a few words from Carpe President Rudy Boutignon.
Hi, I'm Rudy, President of the Canadian Association of Retired Persons. You are the person most invested in your own health. And as you age, it's important to become aware of changes that happen. And that's why regular medical checkups are so important. And because prevention is the best medicine, it's why Carpe promotes vaccinations for flu, COVID, shingles. Vaccines are proven effective. I know, I've had them all. For more information on this and other health matters, go to our website, carpe.ca, and join our movement.
Being proactive in our health is a mental and spiritual journey. As we age, we're vulnerable to so much. So take steps to learn about your body and make every effort to stay healthy for as long as possible. And that's the show. And remember, as our Carpe chairman Moses Neimer always says, the best way to keep going is to keep going. So Carpe Diem and seize your day.